Alright, so today we're gonna have a look at the Hero Arena game mode. And I'll be doing a quick guide or a brief overview of sort of what you need to think about when you attempt to do the Hero Arena. Now, before we actually go into it, the giveaway for the best global account is still going on, so you do have until tomorrow when that video is 2 days old to participate. So if you want to participate, the link is in the description. It should be at the top of the description there. Do check it out. But that said, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, let's just get into it. So the Hero Arena game mode is sort of where you're gonna get your materials in order to be able to limit break a unit to LR. Now currently we only have one LR unit, and that is Lostvayne MELIODAS. And we also have a event. If you log in every day in your mail, you will be able to find either 3 or 2 of these tokens every single day. So you'll be able to get a total of 60 of these if you log in every day for 4 weeks. And with those 60, you are like 60% in the way of actually getting melee to LR. So you only need another 40 of these tokens, which you can get from 400 of these coins. Now, how do you get those coins? Well, you do play the game mode. So in the game mode, you do have different difficulties here. Unless you have like a really built out account where you can get 320k CC for 3 different teams, at least 3 different teams, without putting associations on the units, then you should go for this mode, or potentially this one if you're a mega whale. Otherwise, I would suggest just sticking to master. Here you only need to get 300k CC, and you can put links on your association so you can reach that even easier. You will be facing off against 3 different opponents, and all the 3 different opponents have like the exact same teams. Alright, I'm probably wrong there, but it's basically the same exact teams. You have the Archangel team. This is how it looks for team 1 here, or the first opponent. This is how it looks on the second opponent, and this is how it looks on the third opponent. This is basically the same. You have your Ragnarok teams, like your random sins team with Blue Ludo. You have a debuff team with Philo, and your Catastrophe team. Same here. Ragnarok, Sins, Philo, and Catastrophe. Ragnarok, Philo, Catastrophe, and a random Fairies team with the new king. But anyway, once you've actually picked your game mode there, you just lock it in, and the different game modes, of course, give different amounts of points. So basically, if you can beat all 3 opponents, and meaning all 15 different teams with at most 4 different teams, you're going to be able to get 100 of these coins. Now, of course, 100 of these coins equal to 10 of the tokens, and you do need to get at least 40 of the tokens in order to get like Lostvayne up to LR, because we're getting 60 for free. Now, this game mode isn't going to be the only way you can get like those tokens from. In the future, whenever we get a new underground labyrinth, I do believe they're going to add those tokens as like rewards, either from completing or like from the shop or whatever. So you'll be able to get some from there as well. Otherwise, doing it on master is going to take you normally like 10 weeks. You're going to need to get like 1,000 of these coins, meaning 10 total weeks, just to get 1 unit up to LR, which is like completely ridiculously stupid. But if you complete this, you're also gonna get 2 gems per box, which you get 5 boxes from. So that's 10 gems every single week. That's really nice, especially for like a free-to-play player. If you complete this one, you're gonna get 5 gems. So say you haven't progressed far enough with your account where you can get 3 teams over 300k CC with associations and card sets. No food, then of course go for like the lower difficulties. Like I think the opponents should be the same or like very similar teams you're gonna face. They're just gonna be a little bit easier. You're actually facing off against the one. I do believe one of the other teams, at least on master, did have the one, and you can like pick different difficulties here as well. Yeah, this one had the one. So just pick whatever difficulty you want to pick. I actually picked this one, not because that's what I wanted to. I kind of wanted to try this one, but because that was the one I first ran. And for some reason, when I ran this, I thought like I could run it and then reset it, because over here you can just reset, right? You pick this and you reset. But if you complete it to where you get to this point and you kill like your 15th team and you get the rewards, then like you instantly get the rewards, so you have to click it or something. I can't quite remember, but I got it. So unfortunately, all I have left are like footage of me actually playing it with no commentary. That is why I have to make the video this way, but otherwise I would have perhaps even tried the other one. But for this specific guide, for the first ever guide here, let's just assume we're gonna pick master and we'll take it from there. Alright, so say you pick the master difficulty, which sort of teams are you gonna build? Well, you do have some really nice teams that you can sort of replicate here. Like you have the Ragnarok team, of course, you have the Archangels team. You can use those teams, and you can use sort of other teams as well, sort of the demon teams or human teams or full-on sins teams with the new ban. Any sort of team works, and I found that teams that do a lot of like AoE damage work exceptionally well. Otherwise, like if you have teams that are really strong with like single target attacks, focus down the units units that are gonna be the biggest problems. Those units are of course gonna be your Miles, your Lizzes, your Tarmiels here. So you sort of do need to kind of know what the characters do before you actually go into this. You can of course just go into Grancross database and check it out. But a lot of this is just building teams that would be able to counter sort of any other team. Now of course on Master, at least for me, it wasn't too difficult to just run, you know, your basic demon team, your a little bit more offensive Archangel team, and then of course your regular old Sins team. But you can of course build quite a lot of other teams as well, like the more tanky Archangel team with Goddess Liz for the extra healing that she can provide. So anytime you like defeat one enemy team, the HP your units end up with is sort of the HP you will start the next battle with. And you do need to go through all 5 teams for each of the 3 different people that you're gonna face. So I say people, but it's basically bots anyway. It's 4v4 PvP type game mode, similar to the structure of Guild Wars. So if you sort of need tips of like what sort of teams you can build, of course just search on YouTube for like 4v4 7DS teams or whatever, and look for like the more recent ones, not the ones from like a year or 2 ago, but like some of the more recent ones. I have some videos up. I know all the other YouTubers also have some videos up whenever that was a PvP rule. Or you can like maybe search for like Guild Wars videos or whatever and get some tips and tricks there. I know Chixua made a lot of like Guild Wars specific videos. Unfortunately doesn't make any more videos anymore, but you can most definitely sort of get an idea of what you need to think about from those videos as well. But for this lower difficulty, like of course you do need to have a lot of CC inherently. Like you do need to have a lot of box CC, you do need to have or have gone far into the constellation system and all of that to be able to get that 320k CC without associations or links. You will of course be able to just use your gear, so if you have HP defense UR gear for all your units, that will of course make it a lot easier for you there. But anyway, the teams I used personally for at least Masters was, I used the Demon team with Perg Melee, Estarossa, Blue Zeldris and Counter Chandler. I found that Counter Chandler was kind of nice because he was able to sort of disable the units that are gonna use buffs, and the NPCs do tend to like prioritize buffs as like their first move. So for example, Red Tarmiel buff first, etc. which you kind of don't want to attack into the Red Tarmiel buff if he managed to get it off. So I would honestly like kill the Red Tarmiel first whenever you're facing the Goddess team, and then sort of work your way through the rest of them by perhaps killing Mael if you have some really strong attacks saved up. But with the Demon team, you just stance up with Chandler, one AoE attack with Zeldris, and then just disable one of their units with Chandler. Then the next turn you just AoE with Melee. When he has his true magic buff, maybe you need to attack once first and then AoE, and then you just pretty much kill the whole team or everyone except for like one unit or something. That's basically the Demon team. The Archangel's team, I just went with sort of a hyper-offensive Archangel's team with Mael, Green Ludociel, Light Liz, and Red Sariel. Everyone's just doing a lot of damage, having a lot of stats because of like the synergies between the units. Just the two single target attacks with Ludo and Mael are enough to kill like one unit, and you can also shield up on the same turn. I found that to be very useful to not lose a lot of HP with that team. And then you sort of just use your strongest attack to kill the rest of them. And as for the Sins team, I just wanted to use Ban, so I made a Sins team there. You could of course go with Escanor. I think he would have perhaps been better for that specific team, but I'm just using Merlin there as well, and just to debuff a lot. Diane, of course, with like Tarmiel Grace, and of course all the graces or all the associations, like you can reuse them. You cannot reuse the same units. So for example, if you use the Demon team with Perg Melee, you cannot use Melee in the Sins team as well. You can use other types of Melees, but not Perg Melee specifically. And then of course I also used King, sort of just to reduce the damage I take every single turn by mitigating quite a lot of damage with his shield. But yeah, that was sort of the teams I use. Some other teams that you can use, of course, is the Human team. I would suggest going like the one Ultimate and Awaken Roxy if you have her. Then sort of any other two humans, or perhaps just one more human, say Rudius, and then another buffer unit that's just gonna be there to give you stats or whatever, or reduce the enemy stats. I think that could be kind of good, just to sort of have like a hyper offensive human team, maybe even someone who can heal, because you're already doing so much damage with like 2 or 3 of your units that the fourth one can just be a support unit, and that would be kind of great. Other teams, of course, say you want to run like 2 demon teams, then you can have like one demon team with Estarossa and Perg Melee, and then another demon team with either Traitor Melee or Assault Mode Melee. I think that could work great if you have like Assault Mode Melee's Holy Relic. That's gonna be even better. You can run like Blue Droll just to give him more amplify cards, and have Sigurd there as well. Just deal so much damage, just one shot every single enemy, right? Just make sure that you have at least 300k CC or whichever bracket you sort of end up at. And of course you can go with like whatever teams the NPCs are using. Like the Ragnarok team should be really good. So the Red Brunhild team, of course, because she does so much AoE damage. Like literally any sort of teams you can deal a lot of AoE damage with is gonna be good. Sort of the Catastrophe teams and Ragnarok teams and stuff like that. If you have Philo, you can go with sort of a debuff team with Merlin there as well, and just one-shot the enemy team. Because if you do get to go first, you can just one-shot them, right? She does so much damage. But anyway, I think that's enough about the teams. And just one more thing that you should keep in mind while doing the runs is if you start a battle where you face off against one enemy, the second battle will automatically start. To kill all these 5 teams takes about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe it's like 12 minutes. I don't know. It depends on sort of what teams you're using. So you can take breaks between these 3 teams, but I do believe like you have to finish the whole thing if you just start it. So do keep that in mind. And of course, because you're like facing off against 3 different teams, it's gonna take you about 30-40 minutes to complete the whole thing every single week. But yeah, that was basically some tips and tricks, or well, your basic ass guide on the new Hero Arena game mode. Like if you want to know some more specifics, just ask me down in the comments and I'll gladly answer. Maybe I'll like make another more in-depth video. Like I honestly was gonna do that. I thought I would be able to like run the thing again, but unfortunately for this week I did just do my run. I did fortunately record it, but I'll have to do it like this rather than tell you specifics of how you can counter the different teams. I did mention some things like trying to disable certain units or just focusing down other units that are more problematic for the different teams. And because you're like facing NPCs, it's not like you have to kill the Philo on the Philo team. She's the big threat, but the NPC doesn't use the Philo cards. He doesn't even use Echidna's debuff cards unless you actually kill one of their units. The NPCs just sort of do their own thing, right? And the team I mean is this one. It's basically gonna use the Sever card here, then 1 Merlin card, and then an AoE card. That's basically the turn 1 that they use. They don't even use the Philo card, even though Philo would completely destroy us if they actually use the Philo card. So maybe like focus down Merlin or something, or disable either Merlin or Echidna, and then kill them next turn or whatever. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me. I don't have too much more to say, other than I hope you liked the video, hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching, I hope you have a most wonderful rest of your day, and yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.